Well, as we get closer to the release of FC26, we're seeing more things now that have kind of confirmed what we have thought for a long time now. And is this problem going to be even worse this year? Possibly. And we'll talk about what that problem is here in just 1 second. You've probably already seen it in the title, but anyway, we'll get into that. Plus a lot of random information today to talk about, random tips, some weird playstyle stuff I want to talk about as well. That maybe is just pointless to talk about before we even have the game and know the playstyles, but we're going to talk about it anyway because fuck it. So if you guys would like to buy coins, you can go to mmoxp.com. There will be a link in the description down below. They are the cheapest and the safest option. You can use my code JFC at checkout for an 8% discount. But all right, thank you guys as always for watching and being here. Subscribe if you are new to the channel for all types of content all year next year. Let's start off with just the trader stuff, the Discord stuff. So if you're not familiar with what we're going to talk about here, basically there are many leakers out there who kind of were traders, but now they have leaks and stuff, who have their own Discords that you can pay to get into to get trading advice. And also potentially early leaks has been the debate for a long time about whether these Discords actually just get early leaks and stuff like that. Do they hide the leaks behind paywalls, certain ones, and make other ones public? You know, it's been a debate for a while, but here we're just starting to see the mask kind of slip here. We got literal advertisements now for, just scrolling down right here. Oh, what's that? Does that say their own leaker? So this Discord here literally says they have their own leaker, unique information from an insider. Okay, so now we're just starting to advertise, you know, paywalled leaks now, and we're just seeing more than ever now these Discord ads from many of these leakers. I saw AC's got one. I mean, it's literally everywhere. Every single person on Twitter right now seemingly has their own paid Discord, and some of these guys like Fut Rory, I don't even think has his own leaks, right? So some of these guys are just totally legit trading guys, and a lot of these guys might be legit and, you know, are just pure traders, not paywalling leaks and stuff like that. But when you got AC, who's one of the biggest leakers right now, advertising his paid Discord, it just makes you wonder, you know, what's going on behind the scenes and stuff. And of course, the bigger thing here is like, does this even really matter, right? Does it really matter that much if a trading Discord gets leaks a couple of hours prior to the rest of us getting them publicly? I mean, it's probably not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things, of all the problems with, you know, the previous game and what's probably going to be the case again this year. Lots of more pertinent issues than traders getting leaks prior to some of us getting them publicly. But the thing is it's kind of more so a bigger issue where now trading just, it becomes a little bit less interesting because staying ahead of the curve is virtually impossible a lot of the time now if you're just not getting all the information that some people have, right? You're just behind. Doesn't mean at all that you can't trade, like you definitely can, but you're just gonna be behind. You just know that. It makes it less interesting. You're less inclined to do it. And I feel like we can draw these parallels to other parts of the game over time that they've just kind of been watered down and they're not as interesting anymore because of the new age FIFA. Now, the ironic thing is that obviously we talk about leaks and news on the channel every single day. So am I going to sit here and complain about this when that's what I do? Well, yes, actually, because I think for the greater good of the game, I think less leaks the better. I think even though it's what we talk about on the channel every day, which if there were leaks or not, we still make, you know, news videos and stuff every single day. And if there weren't leaks, we just do a lot of trading stuff. I'd love trading with no leaks. It'd be awesome. I'm sure a lot of you guys would too. But I'm just making the broader point here that there's so many interesting things that we used to have in the game that have been kind of dumbed down and watered down over time, unfortunately, because of the new ways they've gone about the market and the unfortunate leaks. Maybe that's not even their fault, right? That might just be a reality of the times that we're in. But as we know, EA have said this year they're going to try and limit the leaks. So we'll see how that actually goes. I'm pessimistic about that, but maybe they do know ways to prevent some. But I'm showing you guys this picture here because a lot of people say this is just pure nostalgia. These kinds of expensive Team of the Weeks cards, the market being more expensive actually, because why would you want a more expensive market? Don't you like it when it's cheap? I think we just now have seen the opposite ends of the spectrum here, and we can, I think, safely say that there needs to be more of a balance between more expensive things and cheaper things and more rewarding things you earn in the game. It sounds crazy to reminisce over expensive Team of the Week cards, but it's less so the expensive nature of them and more so these guys were in your team and they could be in your team for so long. You pack one of these guys like an informed Pogba, you're going to play 800 games with him, and that's prior to evolutions. So even adding in Evos now, EA has such an opportunity to make such long-lasting club legends and players that last thousands of games, and I really think they need to tap into some of this nostalgia like they genuinely do, and I hope that the signs that are pointing towards this actually happening do genuinely happen, because I think we do need to go back to just some of the older stuff here. And I need to interrupt myself for a sec. I can't take more cheap beast Tamori and Burmo posts. I can't do it, guys. Cheap beasts. I'm going to actually lose. My mind is going to explode if I see one more of these posts. And back to our other point now, bringing this stuff back up, like I want to ask you guys, do you guys think a lot of the stuff that we think about and used to love in the old FIFAs is just nostalgia and it's just now we're older and that's the problem? I don't think that's the case. I think, of course, there's some nostalgia that goes into all of your old memories of old video games, but the rewarding nature of this game has basically gone down the drain, apart from evolutions, ironically, which is kind of one of the things that parallels to a slower power curve because your cards are in your team longer. The rewarding nature of the game has really gone downhill, and if they can fix that a lot, I think we're going to be in for a lot more of an interesting year, even if gameplay sucks ass, because it might. It very well might, even though it's a selling point for the game. If gameplay sucks, at least if we have some like rewarding things in the game, new game modes, even, you know, it's just, there's just a lot of ways this year for the game to be a lot better, and we'll see how it goes. But I wanted to draw that parallel from the leakers and stuff and how things have changed over the years. But anyway, we learned more actually after yesterday's video about these silver stars. They're called silver superstars, so they literally are going to be technically silver stars, part of the world tour. So I saw some people talking about this on Twitter today, that maybe the first promo of the year is going to be this, and we'll have silver tournaments right away, maybe to have the gold market sort of stabilize a little bit and then not increase the power curve too much. Could that happen? I think it could, but I would guess that probably won't happen. The reason being is that the first like week or two of the game, I think EA knows people will drop hella FIFA points, and maybe they'll do that regardless of any promo cards being in there. But I think they want to take advantage of that and have a couple really good promo cards that you won't pack and people think you can pack in a time of the year where people are spending hella FC points. So I think this probably won't happen, but it could. But yeah, we did learn that it's Silver Superstars is the name. So we're going to see more silver content, and we'll talk more about that when we get to the comments part, because I asked you guys yesterday if you like silver content. And just to highlight once again, the inflation we've been seeing, 50 plus this year after having 1 10 years ago, went from 1 to 11, 19, 28, and then 50 plus, just highlighting the inflation. And I think we need to be prepared next year for maybe a little bit slower content at times, and we need to be okay with that. We need to learn, as you know, I'll be making daily videos, obviously, and if you'll be here joining us during those videos, which please, we need to remember, maybe less content isn't the worst thing in the world. Now that we have tournaments and stuff, that can substitute for some of this content. So of course, if it's really boring and dull, then, you know, that's not great, but maybe a little bit less stuff isn't the worst thing. And next I want to talk about this. So I think it was Fut Accountant who tweeted this out. I want to shout out him. I think it was him. Imagine it wasn't him, but I think it was him who tweeted out that some strikers have actually the aerial playstyle for next year, which as we know is only defensive, right? It's Aerial Fortress, and actually Aerial Fortress Plus, there's 2 strikers with Aerial Fortress Plus, and also a lot of strikers have the base Aerial Fortress here. If we do this, and then can we sort into attackers here maybe for positions? Let's just do strikers here, and then let's add alternate positions. Yeah, a lot of strikers have this playstyle, and this is just strikers, not including all attackers here. So the debate obviously got brought up as to like, why do they have the defensive fortress playstyle? Why does Marcus Thuram have defensive fortress, or sorry, Aerial Fortress, but it's only supposed to be defensive? Kind of brought up some debate on how this playstyle is actually going to work. There is a chance actually that this is basically a playstyle plus that will be good for like knocking on headers as well, and not just strictly in the defensive end. Like maybe for goal kicks, for example, Aerial Fortress might activate on that, or something along those lines too. And of course, it does make sense in IRL football wise, because for example, Erling Haaland, I think, is really good at defensive headers out of the box, right? So there are ways strikers can have this, but the biggest worry I think people had about this was that headers are going to be even harder next year to score, because even some attackers have the Aerial Fortress. So like corner kicks, for example, I mean, I don't know how attackers are going to win corner kick headers, right? Like, how is that even going to happen? But later on in the year, you might have like 5 or 6 players have the Aerial Fortress playstyle, and then obviously there is no playstyle for the attacking aerial. So headers just might be really difficult next year. But of course, the biggest thing with this is that we have not played the game. So that's a very big piece of this, is playing the game is pretty important, and maybe there won't even be much coming from this. But what do you guys think here? You know, this Chori guy's got the Aerial Fortress playstyle as a striker, or maybe it even will be still useful in attack, but just defenders who have it also can counter it easy, and then if you're a defender who has it, you'll win the header almost every time. I don't know, right? We're just speculating here. By the way, there is a squad builder now on radarfc.com, and I think the ratings release is supposed to be like on Monday, I want to say, but we already have the full database right here. So if you want to build squads, you can now with all of that. And also reminding you guys, hey, 2 great options here. Starting strikers with 90 plus pace and 84 plus dribbling. You got Ashwala and Enyami here. Not going to be expensive. I mean, they'll be not not 700 coins, but not as expensive as others, and are going to do 95% of the job, or maybe even 105%, depending on a hidden beast you might find. Okay, let's read some of your comments now. We got Doc and Rum, who talks about the silver cups from a couple of years ago. So most of you guys in the comments did say you did enjoy the silvers, but there were some people that just said it wasn't worth it, and they weren't very good, so there was kind of no point. And also a big part of that was what Doc and Rum says here, was that the promo silver cards literally had the stats of like a 90+ rated player. If you guys remember some of these cards, I'll show you. FIFA 22, we had this Rainier card, 90 pace, 85 shot, 87 dribbling as a 74 rated silver, and this was like not even close to the best silver we got. There was like other silvers that were ridiculous, like Hullet Gang silvers as center mids. And the reason they did that was because cards that are silvers now aren't very good, so you kind of have to do that to make it interesting. Will that be the case this year? We have to wait and see, but the problem was, of course, that if you didn't play every week to get the silver cup players, the regular silver cards compared to the promo silver cards were so bad that it ended up kind of being pointless if you hadn't started from the beginning. So how do they fix that problem? Well, you have to make silvers better. But then the problem with that is if you make silvers better, you're kind of shrinking the pay to win aspect, because the top end players will probably not be quite as much better than your 82s, 83s, 84s, 85s, and EA is scared of doing that. So hopefully if they do this silver content, it's more so not like it was in FIFA 22, and it's more so like it was in 16 and 17, where silvers are just better. You don't have to make insane silver stats. You don't have to. Let's try and find one that was like ridiculous. Yeah, we had Cyprian Jolinton right here. So Jolinton, let's open this in a new tab. You got, I mean, it's basically Hullet Gang almost, 88 physical, which is really cool because he's almost a usable card, especially with evolutions now. But then if you don't earn all these cards, you're at such a disadvantage. So it'll be very interesting to see what they end up doing with the silvers, because I don't know. I made the comments yesterday too. We're talking about how Batistuta should be an icon. I think there was probably 40 comments yesterday saying Batistuta is not a hero. So I didn't really watch him play, so I don't know. But yeah, here's 2 more comments talking about how, you know, Crespo is an icon. He's better than Crespo. Yeah, that was like consensus in the comments. I don't think I had anyone say that Batistuta should be a hero. We got Axiliant, I think. What religious aspect, man? What's wrong with Christmas? I am a Hindu and I absolutely love the Christmas vibes. There's only one religion, we have to go through this bullshit. Listen, don't ask me, okay? I'm just the messenger. I have no idea why it's gone. I mean, we know why it's gone, but that reason being enough to remove the whole promo, I have no idea, okay? Don't ask me. If EA don't want to have Christmas in it, then just release the exact same promo without the Christmas name in it, okay? I don't give a shit about if the promo is called My Hairy Ass. I wouldn't care. If it has the same content that has always been in Futmas, I would not give a shit what the promo is called. And EA shouldn't care either. Why delete the entire thing based off that if that was their reason? I don't know. We talked about that yesterday already. I'm saying the same shit over and over again. But that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you all so much, and I love you all. So peace.